Here's my video on the Michigan Cyber Summit 2022. I went to the Michigan Cyber Summit it was just the other day. It was a great experience to say the least. I got to meet a lot of people in the cybersecurity field, from actual jobs to colleges. I learned a lot of new information. Got to go into a couple breakout rooms and got to hear a couple panels discuss various cybersecurity topics. As well as being educational, the summit was actually fun as well to go to, and I highly recommend it. Let's get into it. This is a slideshow I have made with different pictures from the event, so I can talk about it. Here I am, right here, going sweatshirt on, hat and stuff. And here's my teacher, Mr. Lang, over the side. He's the one that actually orchestrated all of this and was able to give the students the opportunity to come to the summit. Also pictured here is like cybersecurity class. Not everyone's pictured. Some people are doing the challenge, the governor's challenge at this point, and I'll get into that here on the next slide. Next slide, I actually went over into the room where my teammates were competing, and this was their rank. We had two teams, the Blue Devils and Incognito mode. Right here, they were ranked 8th and ninth at this point. I know at least Blue Devils were ranked higher at the end, towards the end of the competition. We don't know their final placing, but they think they were fifth, which, as you can see here, is the different challenges: Linux 100, Linux 101, Networking 101, Gate 101, PowerShell 101, Network Forensics, School Computer. It's a bunch of different subjects they had to go through and some different questions and stuff. I actually competed in this competition. Out of uh, anybody in student in Michigan can compete in it. Um, but obviously they make it to the only top 10 made it to this governor's actual final round, and I had a fun time participating in this challenge where I did participate in, and I highly recommend it. It's a great opportunity to learn how to grow your knowledge, learn how to research topics. Here pictured next is actually me and some other kids and Mr. Lang down the bottom of a table. We were listening to some of the panel speakers and stuff. And yeah, I was at that point listening to the panels. Um, Actually, some of the different panels actually talked about was, and there was three panels we went to. The first one was fireside chat. They talked about the hottest topics in the cybersecurity ecosystem. Latest issues, threats, and innovations in cybersecurity protection. Uh, the second one was a diamond and platinum panel discussion, which was the main sponsors of the summit, which they discussed virtual reality and what's happening next, as in privacy, security, and protection asset management is important with the new virtual reality. There's also another panel discussion we listened to was automotive IoT. IoT is Internet of Things, which is the connectivity and cybersecurity ecosystem in Michigan of the new automotive industry with technology. Now, more automotives has more and more technology and IoT with them. How do we secure that? And then there was the breakout rooms, which we'll get to into now. Or actually in between, I should say, the breakout rooms, and that there was also time to go check out all the different tables all these companies had for us to see. You can see here I'm pictured with some other students at my school. And right now I'm at the GitLab table, and this man was talking about how GitLab is, and he actually said it's for students. We can get everything access for free, and so I'm planning on checking the application out soon. looks pretty informational. There's a lot of stuff you can do with GitLab apparently, and I'm gonna be glad to check that out. And as you can see, there's all these tables in the background we went to, and I talked to many companies and see what they were about, and see if any interested me and stuff. And yeah, now here are my breakout sessions. Funny enough, all three that I actually wanted to go to were in the same room. So I went to the State of Cybersecurity, a current view of ransomware, lessons from the field, vulnerability disclosure and bug bounty program management, and risk management. Hindsight is 2020. So as you can see here, here's the first speaker. That was for the oops, sorry, the the breakout session, the cybersecurity current ransomware. This guy was from Microsoft, and he just talked about how Microsoft has to come out with new updates all the time to protect against ransomware. And a lot of the times, he goes to these companies and they just don't have any preparation for it, or then Microsoft leaves a patch out for like 90 days, and the company just doesn't update their stuff for 90 days, and they get ransomware hacked. And it's just some simple stuff like that. Companies just aren't really preparing for ransomware hacks, and it's really quite sad. And just all the he talked about all the different types of ransomware and how Microsoft deals with it really. Next, here's a picture of me and Mr. Lang. We sat in on the bug bounty and the disclosure program breakout session. So that's us before the session, and here is the session. It was hosted by Glenn, which is like a research, cybersecurity research company. And they just really talked about just well, actually, the presentation was made by a guy that actually wasn't able to show up. So luckily, a former coworker of his was able to speak on it, and another lady. And so they talked about VDPs, vulnerability disclosure programs, and bug bounty. VDPs, they describe it as a passive way to reach out to the research community, like an open contact form, and bug bounty is a specific invite. The company has to define the scope, like this certain domain, this network, or this specific product that they invite the research community to hack, and the research community, if they do find a vulnerability for a bug bounty, they would be compensated. So, VDPs are more of a free, um, more less defined way of being penetrate tested, and bug bounties are more defined, specific penetrate test that you so the company would have to pay for. And yeah, that was what they talk about mainly for VDPs and bug bounties, and they also gave some advice as a student wanting to be an ethical hacker, which is what I'm looking to go into right now. They said go to HackerCons and just go there and find people, talk to people, make contacts, and just go to HackerCons is probably the best things to do. So I might be looking to that pretty soon. And then the third one, here's a picture of the speaker. He was from um, Cisco, and his name is Wolfgang Gorlitz. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but he was a really interesting speaker. He spoke on risk management. Hindsight is 2020. I actually have a lot of notes on his session. So basically, risk management. It's managing the risk at how to manage risk inside companies, like how to manage your security. And as he said, relationships trump facts 100% of the time. He was talking about how you could have some cybersecurity professional go in and talk to the CEO of the company and say, we need this security, we need to spend some money and this, we need a budget towards this security. But then you have some hotshot business guy with idea that just went golfing with the CEO last week and has a great relationship with the guy and says, no, we don't need the budget for cybersecurity, we want the budget for my plan. And who's the CEO going to listen to? cybersecurity guy that's just gonna spend some money on some security that may or may not be needed, or we're gonna spend it on the guy that says it's really fun, plays golf with him, thinks he's got a good idea. So yeah, you talk about that, like the psychological standpoints of this. He said his New Year's resolution is to stop saying it depends. It depends is can be uncertain, and people will pick the negative scenario again and again. And he said it depends is a favorite word in cybersecurity. Uh, it depends. Like he says, oh, so will this system get hacked? Well, it depends on this scenario, this scenario, this scenario. And he says it's his favorite word, and he really doesn't want to use that as the negative option will always be picked there. And it's just all about risk management is all about making sure negatives don't come across. You don't portray what you're trying to do as negative, or you're not trying to portray it wrong. You're trying to make it so you're secure, risk free, and you can't mess up here. He also talked about this thing called the risk thermostat. Thinking of if you implement a control more risk could occur. He showed an example. He gave some examples of motorcyclists that have helmets would drive faster, right? They think they're safer. They would drive faster. Clearing motorcycles without helmets, they don't think they're as safe, so they're not going to drive as fast. Or he said they did a study with some European country that did a study with people with masks on if they stand closer than people without masks. So he found people with masks actually stood 10 centimeters closer, which, that's not much, but that's still a difference. That proves the risk thermostat. So as you can see, more controls on a system or more controls in a company, more security, users could feel safer and they could be doing unsafe things on the network. So you just really have to find the good balance. Um, and just you need to be able to manage the change between, as he said, cottage core and goblin mode. Cottage core is, oh, you implement some security measures and oh, it seems great for the first couple months. Everything's really smoothly, people are going with it, but they get comfortable with it. Or, they're not with a program after a couple months. They go into goblin mode, they do it their own thing, they're a little reckless. And you just risk management. You gotta be able to manage the change in between those two modes, and you just really have to go into the psychological aspect here. Um, but yeah, it was his session, and then yeah, I just want to conclude a little final photo. Here's all the people in the big conference room where we had our panel discussions, and yeah, it was my experience for the Michigan Cyber Summit 2022. It was a great informative experience that I highly recommend. It was a lot of fun. Uh, Honestly, 10 out of 10 experience. I would go again. And honestly, it's just a great way to learn more in cybersecurity that you didn't think you could actually learn all that more. But it's just really surprising how much it had to offer. Thank you.